Hey there, and welcome to Draw Anything and Everything. I'm your artist, Mickey Malarky. Ice cream! Now that I have your attention, do you feel like drawing something? Because I feel like drawing something. All you need to make a really great picture is to have something to draw on, something to draw with, and a lot of enthusiasm! Alright, we need 3 really amazing ideas today from the imagination box so we can make an incredible picture. Let's find out what it has in store for us. And here we go. The first idea is jazz. That's like a really smooth, chill kind of music. We can have a lot of fun with that. Our second idea is one of my favorite woodland creatures. It is a squirrel. We can have fun with that one too. And our third and final idea is it's cold. Okay, 3 very different ideas. How are we going to put them all together? There's only one way to find out. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Let's get drawing. Well, this is an interesting trio of ideas that we have today. We have jazz, a squirrel, and cold. Okay, well, let's get going. And I think I'm going to start with our squirrel friend, because why not? We can do anything we want, and I feel like drawing a squirrel. So I'm going to draw a squirrel, and I'm going to keep the squirrel's eyes closed to start. We might open them up later on, but for right now, I want to keep them kind of closed. And I'm going to have our squirrel, first of all, I feel like our squirrel needs to be wearing some sort of very cool hat, especially because jazz is one of our clues. And jazz musicians sometimes can wear some really cool clothes. So I want to make sure our squirrel, who's definitely going to be a jazz squirrel, let's just put that on the table right from the beginning. Our jazz squirrel friend needs to look super, super cool. And there is their kind of fedora hat and their nice big head. And I'm going to have our squirrel friend blowing into something. Why don't we give them an instrument? And what is one of the best jazz instruments ever? I think it is a saxophone. So let's draw our jazz saxophone playing squirrel right here. And if you've never had a chance to play a saxophone, it is a very, very cool instrument. I was never very good at it, but I kept trying and trying. And part of the reason why I think I wasn't good at it was I just didn't practice hard enough. So in a future life, maybe I'll come back to it and learn how to play jazz saxophone properly. But a few friends of mine used to play, and they were so good. They were so incredible, and I always really admired them for that. So those friends are watching. Know that I'm dedicating this jazz saxophone to your incredible talent. So there are some buttons on the jazz saxophone. Let's get that going there. I'm going to, of course, put our squirrel in a tie because jazz musicians sometimes wear ties. I don't know why. Maybe it's just part of the look. But let's make sure that we've got that going on. And, of course, we're going to make sure that their pants are tucked in. All right, let's do it proper. And there's our squirrel friend. Maybe some, how do you feel, like some pleated pants? That's when there's like kind of a fold built into the pants right there. And I think that would look quite snazzy on our squirrel friend. And of course, because it's a squirrel, you have to have the nice big round fluffy tail. There we go. And I think they have usually a couple of different colors going on, so we can do that here as well. There is our jazz musician playing squirrel. And we can have, let's see, what else? We had jazz, we had squirrel, we have cold. Well, I think I'm going to have their the saxophone case here. All right, so let's have that nice and open. And the reason being, let's say that our jazz musician squirrel friend here is a bit of a busker, which means that they go and they play on the street and they hope that people throw them some change. So we're going to draw that here for our friend here, that they have their music case and it's nice and open. And then if people want, they can throw coins in there. And we are going to throw some coins in there in just a little bit. First, I have to figure out cold. Right? What does cold mean in this context? Well, I think that what I want to do with this is the scene of this gig, right? It has to be something interesting. So rather than playing just on the street or on a square, how do you feel if this is taking place in a freezer? So I'm actually going to draw that this is a freezer, part of a fridge. And then this is the bottom part here where there's the other fridge door. And we can put a handle here on this one, right? This is where you can open up the fridge here. And this is a nice, cool gig. So we can put other things in the fridge so that we know that that's what's happening here. So I'm going to draw start. Let's just have a nice box of peas, right? There we go. Nice box of frozen peas. And on top of that, we could have, what else do you think? Maybe you want to do a tub of ice cream? We can do a tub of ice cream, right? There's the lid, and there's the tub coming down there, and we can put a nice big ice cream cone so that we know this is some delicious ice cream here in this freezer. And of course, because this is a freezer, we want to make sure that we capture that there's ice and frozen particles here all over the place, right? There we go. And, maybe a little bit of breath here just because everything here is frozen and cold. Kind of looks like a bit of a skunk now, but you know what? It's a squirrel. We know it's a squirrel. We're going to consider it a squirrel. And if you've ever seen a freezer, there's usually some frozen stuff here up on top as well. So let's get that frozen bit going on down here. In the back, I don't know, what do you think? What else do people have in their freezers? Sometimes it's like a big bag of, I don't know, a bag of anything. How about ice? It's a bag of ice. So we're gonna have a nice big giant bag of ice here at the back of the fridge. There we go, there we go, there we go. Keep moving the picture. There we go. Hopefully it's all still centered. And I think we've got a pretty good thing going on here. So let's give it some color. And I'm going to start with our squirrel friend. Give them some nice brown on the ears, some nice brown here on the face. Why not? Right? There we go. Some brown on the hands, and some brown on the outer part of the squirrel's tail. I think that's pretty snazzy, don't you? There we go. There we go. And now we can turn to the next part of our squirrel, which is kind of their face part. I'm going to use this gold color. There we go. Now it's looking more like a squirrel and less like a skunk, isn't it? It's amazing how color can just bring out these things. And I can just use a little bit on the tail as well to just kind of finalize it, blend it in a little bit so it's not just one single color. There we go. We have a nice cool look there. I'm going to take this kind of purpley thing here for the trim on the hat, and I'm going to use my favorite bluish gray here just to get the hat going on this side. There we go. There we go. Okay, now what else do we have? We have the shoes to deal with, so let's do that. And I think I'm going to use this darker gray here for the shoes. Right, I'm going to press on it a little bit harder so that we can really get the dark out. There we go. Beautiful. And for the shirt, I'm going to use this kind of pinkish gray. Right, I'm going to go really light on it just because I don't want too much. Like jazz musicians, they're not very colorful. Sometimes they're just very, the dark kind of broody colors. So this one, we're playing in a freezer. Let's give them like a nice dark blue, right? You can go a little bit darker here. I was a little bit gentle at first, but I'm going to go a little bit harder here so we can really see what that blue looks like. And I'm going to take the yellow for the belt. And what color do you think for the tie? How about a nice red, right? A nice bright red tie. I'm going to change my mind on this jazz player. We are going to give him some pop. Why do we keep it muted? Let's have some fun. Okay, now we turn to the saxophone. The saxophone, this is one of the things, when it comes to coloring in brass, I always find that that's a challenge, right? Because it's not quite yellow, it's not quite orange, it's not gold, it's kind of a bunch of colors. So I'm going to start with an orange, see what happens here. I'm going to add some of this yellow and see how that goes. It's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad at all. And then I can take our gold to kind of finish it up. There we go. You know what? I think we found a good winning combination for our saxophone. That's not too shabby at all. And we can take this just to color in the mouthpiece here, a nice like light blue color. Now the inside of our guitar, or our saxophone case, sorry, it's called the guitar case. I'm going to use this dark color here. There we go. And the same thing here on the bottom, right? Remember we said we were going to add in some coins. We want our friend to know that they're doing well here. So let's throw some coins into this purse. There we go. They can even have some over here. Sometimes they spill out. People throw them in and they miss. But we want to make sure that it's clear. This person's doing not too bad. You know what? We can even here, just for fun, let's throw a bill, and we'll just do like a nice little rectangle to reflect like a little bit of a dollar bill that's been thrown in there. Give it a little bit of contrast there. There you go. All right, we've got some dollars in there. Our friend's making some coin. Not too shabby. All right, I'm going to use this cream color for the background here, right? Just so we have a little bit with our ice. We don't have too much, just a little bit there. Yeah, it's not the most attractive color, but it works. And then we can go back to our green for our peas. Let's give our green peas a chance, right? All we're saying is give peas a chance. There it is. Okay, and then we want to have, for our ice cream, I'm going to have this kind of maroony color. For the other one, maybe this kind of teal color. I love coloring in ice cream. It's one of my favorite things. And then I'm going to take this kind of darker color here. And I'm going to use this in a couple places. I'm going to use this, first of all, for the saxophone case. So we have a nice saxophone case and just a little bit on the inside, so we can see that that's different from the rest of it, right? And I'm also going to use it here, I think, on the ice cream, because I want to have a nice dark ice cream box. There we go. But for the peas, we can use a different color. I'm going to use this kind of green, which we don't really use very much, but I think it's a very cool color. So maybe I'm going to start using it a little bit more. So there's our peas. And for the top of the box, why don't we go back to our pinkish gray? All right, there we go. It's a nice ice creamy color. For our ice that's kind of hanging out back there, let's take a nice light blue, and we'll just give it some light blue treatment there, just so we can see our ice is doing pretty well. And then the rest of the inside, I think, let's give it a little bit of a dark color, right? We want to set the mood. It's a nice jazz mood, right? So let's set the mood like this. There we go. And we can also not forget our squirrel friend's nose. So there you go. I mean, we pretty much have our picture here. I'm going to keep going with this color. Why not? Let's get the door, all right? Let's get the front of the fridge. Let's get the trim. Let's really use this color for all that it's worth, because we don't use it enough, right? I usually use pretty light colors, but today I want to use something a little darker. And now we have the scene of our gig. How do you feel about that? Not too bad. Of course, as always, I've forgotten to color something in. I forgot to color our squirrel friend's eyes. So there you go, with a nice darker brown. And I think now we can see this has really come together nicely. And it's jazz, and if there's beautiful music playing, I'm going to put a few music notes here, just hanging out, to reflect how much fun our jazz musician playing squirrel is having. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah. It's kind of weird. I know, a squirrel playing jazz music in a freezer. Not something you see every day, but you know what? That's the beauty of the drawing universe. You can draw anything you want and it works out perfectly. Thank you so much for drawing with me. I've had a great time as always. And I'll see you again next time. Take care now.